What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Renegade Animation on the Renegade Pop Culture Podcast Network. My name is Mike, and joining me, as always, is my co-captain Cameron.
Howdy, howdy.
And joining us once again, the streaming demon himself, Jacob.
Hello, everybody.
Today is going to be fun. There's quite a bit of news, mostly from Disney, a few smaller stories, and our main topic this evening is a review of the complete filmography, at least the films, of Cartoon Saloon, the animation studio from Ireland, founded by Tom Moore and Paul Young. But first, Cameron, let's break down some of these news stories.
Righty-roo, let's get started. Well, as much as we'd like to kind of be annoyed with Netflix renewing everything because, numbers matter more than, quality, they have actually canceled a show that, was not well received, and that is Hoops. It has been officially canceled after one season at Netflix. And they talked, and of course, the head of Netflix was saying, we try to balance out the viewership number plus the expense of making the show. And obviously that's code for nobody watched it. So, and it was too expensive to make. Well, I can't believe it'd be that expensive. But then again, that's what you get when you don't make just a pilot. You make an entire season. Well, sorry for everyone who lost their jobs. I hope they get more like another one or some other good work in the future. But yeah, I didn't like Hoops. Sorry.
Yeah, nothing really of value lost here.
Just a bunch of wasted talent, and I'm still annoyed. I don't know how Lord and Miller were attached to this, besides maybe just funding the project. But other than that, just still the worst cartoon of the year. So let's move on to something super exciting. So after rumors abound, and the first part of this manga ending this week, Studio Mappa next year will be adapting the super popular Shonen Jump manga Chainsaw Man. And they just officially revealed it on Twitter after a few weeks of people thinking about it happening. And for those not in the know of it, Chainsaw Man is about Denji, a poor young man who will do anything for money, even hunting down devils with his pet devil dog, Pochita. He's a simple man with simple dreams, drowning under a mountain of debt. But his sad life gets turned upside down one day when he gets betrayed by someone he trusts. Now, with the power of a devil inside him, Denji's become a whole new man, Chainsaw Man.
Bum, bum, bum.
It's actually I hear this one's great. I've held off on it just so I could see the anime adaptation, but I've always seen visuals of the manga and it looks great. And of course the image and the link that I sent to you guys, it's pretty gnarly looking. And of course Studio Mappa is a great studio. They do Jujutsu Kaisen, Dorohedoro, and they're working on the current season of Attack on Titan. They're a good studio. I know some people are worried about how much CGI they'll use since these are pretty intricate, detailed characters. But, I trust Mappa. They have, of course, all these studios are made of multiple teams and directors and whatnot, but Mappa's usually one of the best. So
yeah, I'm excited to see what Mappa does to bring this one to life, given how much I loved Dorohedoro.
Oh gosh, I that still might be my favorite anime of the year outside of maybe Beastars. Yeah. And we'll have to talk about Beastars in the future. So, who's a fan of DreamWorks' Captain Underpants film? I was.
I have not seen it.
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious and great. So, they have gotten the rights to adapt Dave Pickley's other book series, Dog Man. And not much else information here. But other than that, hey, Captain Underpants was actually really good in a year like 2021. That was, not 2021. Yeah, sorry. 2017. which wasn't a great year for mainstream animation, but Captain Underpants was just like a surprise hit for a lot of people. So I'm looking forward to this.
I hope they bring back the same writer and director, because I am a big fan of Nicholas Stoller's work, and what he brought to Captain Underpants really, it really elevated the material, which would have already been a fun movie just because, any opportunity to bring Dave Pilkey's art, like that art style, to life, it means you're going to get something good.
Yeah. So the Game Awards happened this past week, and during that announcement and at Studio Wildcard, they are making a TV series called based off of the popular survival game Ark, where you're basically like cavemen and you are basically like living in the same era of the dinosaurs, pretty much. And so J. Oliva, who did Batman: The Dark Knight Returns and the Flashpoint Paradox films, will be directing. And, well, there's quite a lot of big names attached to this. Vin Diesel will act as executive producer and creative convergence for both the video game sequel to Ark 2, and the animated series. And Diesel will also lend his voice talent as Santiago, a fully rendered hero protagonist who will cross over from the newly announced video game sequel to the animated series.
Nice.
So from the cutting edge animation studio Lex plus Otis, and with music composed by Gareth Coker, who did Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which that game has great music. Ark, the animated series, chronicles the story of a mysterious primeval land populated by dinosaurs and other extinct creatures, where people from throughout human history have been resurrected. When the 21st century Australian paleontologist Helena Walker awakes on the Ark after tragedy, she must learn to survive and find new allies, or die again at the hands of ruthless warlords, all while trying to uncover the true nature of their strange new world. Other voice talent includes Gerard Butler, Devery Jacobs, Cissy Jones, Madeline Madden, Deborah Mailman, Zan McClarnon, Malcolm McDowell, Juliette Mills, Elliot Page. Good for him. Raga Ragnars. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I say that last name correctly. David Tennant, Alan Tudyk, Carl Urban, Jeffrey Wright, Michelle Yao, Ron Wan, and golly.
Wow, these video games are more star-studded than I thought.
Well, this is just for the animated series, and
that's right. Yeah,
and it's just, man, that's impressive. And there's a trailer for it, and from what I can tell, it's mostly just like it's like caveman drawings, but then they do have some pretty nice 2D animation, and they have a knight on top of a raptor, so that should be fun. I hopefully the kind of absurd setting of this story will lend to some pretty good action and whatnot. It sounds pretty cool to me, though.
Yeah, I dig this.
Yeah. Well, that's it for the podcast. I hope everyone. Oh wait, sorry. We gotta talk about Disney's Investor Day. Sorry.
Boy howdy,
buckle in, folks.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. This was a huge thing, and it's draining in both mentally and just like, man, this giant corporation owns too much. And but so Disney had its investors meeting day recently and had a lot of announcements, including stuff to expand into foreign markets, plans to combine the adult content, and mostly like just other things. But for this podcast, we're going to be talking about the animated stuff. Before we start, though, let's just, get the obvious out of the way. Disney is too big of a company for its own good. They're a giant mega corporation. They've done some things recently this year that are not stellar. They're not perfect. Don't, try to fully defend them and what have you. Because, they're giant corporations. They're not your friends. So
with that out of the way.
Yeah, with that out of the way, let's gush a little about some of these projects that we're excited for, because you can be excited for the new original projects and the big franchise stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, the first major stuff we'll break it down. So the film wise, Disney announced that their new film Raya and the Last Dragon will be coming out theatrically in March and on Disney Plus through the premium Mulan 2020 situation. I liked the footage that we saw of the movie there. I liked seeing the additional characters, and we finally get to see the supposed last dragon, who's played by Aquafina. Not super excited about the premium price of $29.99 to rent, but since Universal has been doing this all year with their smaller films, if we're not going to complain about that, if people aren't going to fully complain about that, what do you all think? Do you think the price point's worth it?
I think it's fair because
I hope it is.
Because unlike Mulan, this is a movie that people actually are excited to see. So I'm sure they won't mind paying the $30, especially if by March they still don't feel comfortable going to a movie theater.
Yeah, at least this gives everyone an option to do so, to watch it, because it's not fun to be like, you should experience movies in theaters only. And it's like, well, there's a pandemic outside, buddy. I'm not going outside. So I'll just pay the $30, which would have cost me $30 anyway if I, got popcorn, a ticket, and what have you. So
and gas money.
Money. So it's like, it's tough. And also it's like, at least with this film, animation's expensive. This isn't like an indie foreign film that costs about like $11 million or something. And still, that's still a lot, but you know what I mean. I'm looking forward to it. And then they finally officially announced Encanto, their 60th feature film, which that's amazing. 60 films out of their entire lifetime of being around.
Yeah.
So, this is the one that takes place in Colombia, where a magical family lives in a magical home, directed by Brian Howard and Jared Bush, who directed Zootopia, and along with co-director and co-writer by Charisse Castro-Smith, and Lin-Manuel Miranda will be writing the music for it. I'm down for this. I mean, the teaser wasn't much, but
yeah, I was like, just a butterfly just flying to like this field in front of a house.
Yeah, and of course the whole magic house. Yeah. But still, I'm looking forward to it. Something that I noticed throughout a lot of the press Investor Day stream, there's a lot more diversity in front and behind the camera this time around.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever happens with these films, at least I respect to a degree their commitment to having more diverse voices work on these films. It's kind of like how Kemp Powers needs to be also in the discussion of Soul alongside Pete Docter. By the way, Pete Docter is tall. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he's a tall, lanky dude.
Yeah, and very skinny.
Now, Pixar has had a few original announcements as well, along with a pseudo original film. We'll get to that. So they have a new film coming out next year. I mean, well, I guess let's first talk about Luca. They showed off some new footage of Luca and apparently had a trailer that nobody got to see unless you're an investor. And honestly, I liked what I saw, and it amazes me to how far we have come with CGI animation, all from 1995, because I watched Toy Story recently and I'm like, this film still holds up from 1995, but I'm also noticing all the kids at Andy's party are just different character models, and some of the character models are kind of starting to show their age. Like, we're at a point where, like, Luca just looks amazing. So I guess to me, I'm even at like 30, going to be 31 tomorrow. I'm still amazed by this jump in technology.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
There's even a difference, like, in like 10 years, or say like the difference between like there's a difference between Toy Story and Incredibles, but then there's a difference between The Incredibles and Incredibles 2.
It always feels like with every movie, there's like some obstacle they had to overcome. Like Toy Story, it was difficult to make the first CG animated film. But then Bugs Life, they had to make big crowds. Then in Monsters Inc., they had to do Sully's fur. Then in Finding Nemo, they had to do water. And Incredibles, they had to do humans. And in Toy Story 3, they had to do trash bags.
I mean, like, that's the thing with CGI animation. It has an entirely different work style than 2D. And even till like 2007, I was just like, oh my gosh, when I was watching Ratatouille, I was like, they finally got the humans down. And that's only because they took a creative art style, because even like with the Incredibles, it was still pretty somewhat clunky.
But it was the first time that they took like a 2D approach to the character designs of the 3D characters. So of course things aren't going to look perfect.
Yeah,
but
right.
By the time Brad Bird got to Ratatouille, that's when I think he got the formula down.
Yeah, it's like who was the director? Glenn Keane, like kind of broke the code and found out how to make it work for Tangled and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's but they've also announced 2 new original films on top of Luca. Their first one is called Turning Red, which will premiere next year in March, which will be directed by Domi Shi, who directed the Oscar-winning short Bao. And it's the first solo woman director for a feature film at the studio.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too long to finally have one, but small steps, I guess. At least hopefully we'll see if Pixar makes this more of an effort and such to get not just male directors. So Turning Red is about a girl named May who transforms into a red panda whenever she gets excited, and she's dealing with like the stress of being a teenager.
Yeah.
I think Turning Red just looks bloody adorable.
It does.
I love the designs. I love the look of the red panda. And I'm curious to see what kind of approach they take with this, because obviously Pixar likes to have their complex or topics and what have you. So I'm curious to see how they handle talking about puberty and whatnot, since someone joked on Twitter saying like, so Turning Red is basically Big Mouth, but the kids turn into the hormone monsters.
Ugh.
But that, I mean, obviously I dig that joke because I don't hate Big Mouth. So the other one, which I was kind of surprised by, we have another film called Lightyear.
Can I talk about this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the way they described Lightyear in the presentation is this is not necessarily the Buzz Lightyear that we've seen in Toy Story. They describe it as the in-universe movie about the space ranger who inspired the toy that we know as Buzz Lightyear. But as many kids my age will tell you, this is pretty much the blockbuster adaptation of the Saturday morning cartoon Buzz Lightyear Star Command.
Yeah.
And here's the kicker. They have Chris Evans voicing this character. Which makes sense. Not only are they not going to bring back Tim Allen as an excuse to not have to work with Tim Allen, but this is basically the in-universe example of hiring a big celebrity to voice the main character. And you know how like the toys are usually never voiced by the actors from the movies. Like they'll get some
Yeah,
like Jim Hanks instead of Tom Hanks as Woody.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I view this casting. Still, the idea of getting to hear Chris Evans say "to infinity and beyond,"
And beyond.
it just gets me way too excited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he can actually carry an action movie, which I really don't think Tim Allen could. He
Tim
just
Allen,
doesn't have the
yeah.
voice.
Well, there was a joke about like Tim Allen during I think the Galaxy Quest documentary that came out. I think last year or maybe the year before. I forgot.
I think last year.
Where he was like acting alongside I think either who was the guy who plays Snape in Harry Potter?
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman, and then Tim Allen walked away, and he's like, "Man, I need to take a break in the trailer." And then Alan Rickman joked saying like he's realized that he's just seen the limit of his acting abilities. I forgot how exactly that scene goes, but yeah, no offense to Tim Allen, but he can't really carry a movie outside of Galaxy Quest. But that's such a distinct movie that was made for him, and maybe not in the most positive way, all things considered. But is it just me or does this look like First Man?
It does.
Oh yeah, from that image. Yeah, I did have that first. It did have that First Man vibe.
Yeah. And Angus MacLean will direct, and he directed Finding Dory. I'm curious to see how this goes because we don't need another Toy Story movie, but I want to see how this one unfolds.
Yeah.
So next up, we have the shorts and some Disney Plus exclusives things. So we have Pixar Popcorn, which will be a little short film starring established Pixar characters, which will be hitting in January, next month, 2021. The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, a new series that will be premiering in 2022, which will be, of course, about the best character of that train wreck of a franchise. And
played by Simon Pegg.
Yeah, voiced by Simon Pegg. He was the only good thing about that last movie. No, I mean, of course, super talented group of people that working on those films, but just the stories are weak. So, of course, if they're going to continue this, I'm glad that they're using the best character.
Yeah, they're smart enough to know that people don't really want an Ice Age 6.
Oh gosh, after what happened with the last one, good. So they're also going to make a new movie, or at least an animated installment of the Night at the Museum franchise, which I was kind of shocked to see. I mean, I kind of heard rumblings about a new Night at the Museum, but I was kind of like, I don't know. I only heard like the second one. People like the second one. And even with Sean Levy returning as director, I don't know. But then hearing that it's animated, that sounds fun to me. I can't wait to see what kind of style or approach they go with that.
Yeah, that was when I heard it was animated. That's when I perked up. I was like, animated, you say? Okay.
Yeah.
Animation could do wonders for this property. I'm excited to see how Sean Levy handles this.
Yeah. And they're also doing an animated feature for the Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and it actually looks like the illustrations from the book. It's not a live action tedious bore fest, and it looks kind of like how Blue Sky handled the Peanuts movie from that one little clip that we saw, of course.
Yep.
And I don't know. I'm curious to see how it unfolds. Because I don't know. I haven't read the book. This was like I was too old for when these books came out. So
as long as it's better than the last Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, The Long Haul.
Yeah.
Then
and that have an entirely different cast from the first three.
Yep. And that's what started the Twitter hashtag Not My Roderick.
Oh, that's funny. So, and of course, they also announced the hybrid live action and animated film, the Chippendale Rescue Rangers, which will bring Akiva Schafar as the director and John Mulaney and Andy Samberg as the dynamic duo. And I heard about the plot for it, and I'm a little more okay with it, even though I'd still rather this be an animated thing, just because of the little cameo from DuckTales and whatnot. But I do think John Mulaney and Andy Samberg are perfect for the cast. Yeah, I mean, if they had to go with big celebrities, I mean.
Yeah. And Seth Rogen has a cameo in it, apparently.
Yeah.
They mentioned the fact that he has a cameo, but apparently he's not an actor. He's not like an actual like actor in it. He's just kind of a cameo, which Okay.
Yeah. No, and of course they talked about like Pinocchio from Robert Zemeckis, and I mean, there just wasn't much, and I'm curious to see. I want to see what Pinocchio looks like, because if the concept art is anything, they're going to go with the original animated version, just bring it to CGI.
That's gonna be
And
weird.
that is
Yeah.
going to absolutely be weird, and I want to know if it's horrifying or not. This is Robert Zemeckis,
Yeah.
so
I mean,
but
Pinocchio. I can't imagine though him looking much worse than in the recent Pinocchio movie from Italy that's apparently coming out on Christmas Day here.
yeah. Well, good luck with that movie,
Yeah.
because I mean, it's just unfortunate that Robert Zemeckis has to go against Del Toro with his
Yeah.
Netflix Pinocchio film. So
That's
Yeah.
just an
You're.
unfair fight.
that
Yeah.
is especially when you read about the cast and the setting for Del Toro's version, and it's just like, I want that. And yes, I love Tom Hanks, and him as Geppetto is great casting. I just don't have a lot of trust with Robert Zemeckis, especially after The Witches and Welcome to Marwen and plenty of other films. So we're going to move on to TV series, because the rest were just like live action stuff, like, or the Lion King 2, whatever prequel, midquel, sequel thing. So we're going to move on to series. Pixar is going to be making little short series, like Doug Days, based off of the Up film, starring everyone's favorite dog, Doug. A Cars franchise, and a new original long form series called Win or Lose, which follows a middle school softball team in the week leading up to their championship game. Each episode is told from the perspective of a different character. The series will launch in fall 2023, and is created by story artists Carrie Hobson and Michael Yates.
I love
Honestly,
the sound of this.
yeah, it sounds great. I loved the story of the inspiration, where it's like the two of them would be like, "Oh yeah, the meeting went fine." No, the meeting was a nightmare. And I love this gimmick of every character has a different like perspective on the week up to the game.
Yeah.
But I hate
It should.
that.
It's also.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I just hate that I have to wait till 2023.
Yeah. It should be noted that this is Pixar's first TV series that they've actually produced, and yeah, it's cool. Actually, I look forward to what they do with this style of storytelling.
Yeah, and of course they also showed off the new Spark short that would have been shown in front of Soul, and I of course love the look of that short, since it reminds me so much of Ernest and Celestine and the Big Bad Fox and Other Tales. So Disney, on their side of things, are making a Baymax series, a Zootopia series, a Tiana series, and a Moana series. And
Out of those four, Tiana sounds the most interesting to me.
that was a shock, because not to say that they were actually disappointed by the performance of Princess and the Frog, but they kind of didn't do a whole lot with that one, besides the changing of the theme ride in Disneyland that they're taking, that was
Splash
based,
Mountain.
yeah, that was based off of Song of the South, which is now going to be based off of Princess and the Frog. And
good on them.
Yeah, good on them. And I think the Baymax one sounds cute. I'm not expecting too much from it, but I just think that's cute, of Baymax interacting with different civilians in the town, because we already have like an action series, comedy series, and I'm a little disappointed that Zootopia is not going to be like a Brooklyn Nine-Nine or Law and Order for families, where it's just going to be a parody of like, I mean, it's just going to be a bunch of short stories about different characters living in Zootopia, like the Don's daughter, or like Flash the Sloth and the dancers behind Shakira's character. But that's just me. Any thoughts about the Zootopia one?
No, not really. No.
The animated Brooklyn Nine-Nine idea sounds good. Well, it sounded good before
everything.
Before 2020.
Yeah, that's true. So I understand them going this route. I just like Nick and Judy, and I was just kind of curious to see what they would do with a sequel or a series if they were going to be the main characters. But yeah, no, in the end, it's the right way to go. And though I'm excited for Moana, I think that's gonna be a lot of fun, especially if they work with the culture, like they implement the culture of that area of the world well. And who knows, maybe Tamatoa will finally get off his back.
Yeah. Hopefully Jermaine Clement returns for that as well.
Oh, you better.
I would love it if we see more of him.
Yeah. Because he was kind of like technically the last quote unquote traditional Disney villain, even though he was more of an obstacle than a actual villain in the film. But one of my favorite announcements was the Iwaju announcement with Disney Animation collaborating with the Pan-African entertainment company Kugali. And that concept art looks great. I love the buildings and the statues, or that, at least I think they're statues on top of the buildings, or like they're part of the building. And it's kind of cool to see them. I'm sure this was greenlit, or like this started after Black Panther made, $1 bazillion at the box office. Wish there was a little footage, but the concept art looks nice. It'll be kind of interesting to see what happens there.
Honestly, that concept art is all I need to sell me on this. I don't need to see a trailer, although I will watch one anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like after this, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently Black Panther, maybe it's our new Afrofuturist movements and arts. And
yeah. No, that's good. Well, that's good because more diverse voices means more more diverse stories. Mm-hmm. So Star Wars, because they spent billions to buy Star Wars, they're going to milk this thing to the ground. Star Wars Visions, a series of 10 animated shorts by famed Japanese anime creators, will come out next year, which I'm excited for that. If it's anything like an Animatrix or the Halo Legends film, where they just give a bunch of directors like, hey, here's a property, come up with your own interpretation. And it's Disney's first real foray into anime. Not just like, oh, we'll show Yokai Watch or Pokemon or what have you. No, this is like, let's dive into the anime market and let's use Star Wars because, Star Wars and anime kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. But of course, fans of Rebels and the Clone Wars are probably more excited for Star Wars, The Bad Batch, which so I just want to make sure I'm clear on this. Is this taking place after or like during Clone Wars?
After.
Like the TV series, I mean.
I think it was after, because they played the Palpatine's speech before. I will form the first galactic empire or something, which was in Revenge of the Sith. So I'm pretty sure this is taking place between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I'm curious to see. Like, I used to play a game called Star Wars Republic Commando, where you play like a specialized team of clone troopers. This is what it kind of reminds me. It reminds me of that one Xbox game, and it looks cool. Like, I'm down for a more action and a slightly darker storyline. I'm curious to see how this goes. So, and of course, a droid story is happening, which will bring a new hero guided by R2-D2 and C-3PO. I wasn't expecting this. I mean, like, I guess it's like, since I don't think there are official re-releases of the droid cartoons and the Ewok cartoons from back in the day in the 80s and whatnot.
This is about as close as we're going to get to seeing any of that.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if this is kind of like, okay, we'll see how this goes, and then we'll re-release everything on Blu-ray or DVD or on Disney Plus and what have you. So we're almost done. Thankfully, this is not a anime season impression. So Marvel finally showed us some of the What If series with their first trailer that will come out next year in the summer, telling all different kinds of what if stories about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, what if the lead in Black Panther got taken instead of Chris Pratt's character in Guardians of the Galaxy and what have you, or if Agent Carter got the super soldier serum. A lot of people kind of complained about the CGI, but I don't know. I think for something like this, I like to look at the CGI. I think it has a very cool look, and of course, a lot of people are excited because they're going to finally do something with the Marvel Zombies what if story. So,
and something that should be noted, Chadwick Boseman got to record his dialogue as T'Challa in this.
Oh man,
that's gonna hurt. That's gonna be very bittersweet.
Oh yeah.
That is going to be bittersweet.
And for those of you still disappointed that Agent Carter ended too soon, well, I think you'll be very happy with her what if story in this.
Yeah, I forgot the character she's playing because I know that's not exactly Captain America. It's not. I don't know if it's the character's name's like Captain Britain or something like that.
It looks like that's the direction they're taking.
Yeah, her shield has the Union Jack on it instead of the star.
I mean, I know a little more about the DC comic heroes than the Marvel stuff.
Same.
So excuse me for my lack of knowledge on there. Though I don't know, some of them looked a little more interesting than the others. Like I liked seeing well, of course, the like Agent Carter being Captain America. Though I'm curious like what the Doctor Strange what if story is, because I don't know, because it didn't look like, I mean, I guess like what happens if Doctor Strange actually became Dormammu, I guess, just from the looks of like the energy attacks that it sent out in that trailer, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that one, but it certainly looks different.
Yeah, no, a lot of the CGI is kind of reminding me of like that Netflix series Love, Death, and Robots, which like some of these shorts kind of had this same art style. Well, that's it of the animated stuff.
One more thing I want to mention about Marvel's What If. Lest we forget that the series stars Jeffrey Wright as Uatu, the Watcher. So I guess he's the one who's sort of like kind of acting as the narrator, who's like introducing all these what if stories.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, he's
Jeffrey
like the Rod
Wright.
Serling of the show.
I love Jeffrey Wright, so hopefully he'll be more interesting here than in Westworld season 3. Sorry. Overall thoughts about the animated announcements? Got a favorite? Got one that you're more curious about? One that you're worried about? What have you?
I'm definitely excited for the Star Wars anime series.
Yeah, that one sounds great.
And also the Pixar's Turning Red. That just looks so adorable.
Yeah, no. I mean, a lot of this stuff looks great. And I mean, of course, I'm excited for the live action stuff. Like the Loki trailer looked great. And I can't wait to see the Captain Marvel, the what was it? The one with Scarlet Witch and
WandaVision.
Yeah, WandaVision looked great. And yeah, I'm definitely more excited for the movies, because this is where like Pixar did say like after Toy Story 4 they're going to just do original properties. I mean, I know Lightyear is part of the Toy Story thing, but that one's also just kind of a weird spot. It's not really Toy Story, but it's also partially related to Toy Story.
That's why it has my attention, because it's it's kind of like Pixar having their cake and eating it too. They seem pretty committed to telling original stories, but Toy Story is such a huge part of their legacy that they can't just like abandon the property altogether. They got to do something with these characters.
Yeah, and no offense to Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story 4, but he kind of had the short end of the plot stick. Even though I kind of liked the idea of what they were going for with Buzz, but it also felt out of place and wasn't explored upon enough. And this seems kind of like, sorry, but here, we'll do this. And I'm a little weirded out that they're still going to make stuff with Cars because the last film just underperformed. And now it's like with no pandemic to worry about, of course. So
although apparently the merchandise still moves like crazy.
Yeah, I think that's the only explanation I have for them doing a TV series. But I don't hate the Cars films as much as everyone else. I mean, I don't think they're all great. I still think Cars 2 is Pixar's weakest film. But in general, I still rather watch those three than like Hoops. So once again, that's our podcast for tonight. No, okay, sorry. Sorry, that's the last time I'll do that. I guess let's go all the way to the land of the Irish, to Cartoon Saloon.
Founded by Tom Moore and Ross Stewart.
Yeah.
Or Paul Young. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Ross Stewart was still a major part of like I think all of the films. I don't know if I saw him in the Breadwinner credits, but he's probably there. So this is the Irish founded animation studio that hit the mainstream, or I guess as mainstream as foreign indie films get, back in 2009 when their film The Secret of Kells was nominated alongside Up and I forgot what I think Coraline and Big Bad Fox.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah, sorry, not I shouldn't get those two mixed up. There's only two animated films I like with foxes in them.
It's okay.
So yeah, along with the Fantastic Mr. Fox for Best Animated Feature, and it gave G Kids their first nomination.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna start with the first film in the lineup, and they've made 4 as of now. So we're going to start with The Secret of Kells, a 2009 French-Belgian-Irish animated fantasy film directed by Tom Moore, produced by Paul Young, Didier Brunner, Vivian van Vleeterman, and screenplay by Fabrice Ziolkowski. I think I did a good job pronouncing that. So who wants to start with this one? Mike, how about you?
Yeah, I'll go first since this one's still kind of fresh in my memory. I'll say that it's the weakest of the 4, but by no means does that mean by no means is that bad. The only reason why this is the weakest is because it's the shortest. I think there's some things that I would have liked to see a little bit more of. First of all, what is the story? So
Can I tell it?
Go for it.
Go. Yeah.
The Secret of Kells takes place in 9th century Ireland or 8th century Ireland. It takes place in the Abbey of Kells, in which the abbot is constructing a massive wall around the abbey to keep it away from the Northmen, the Vikings, who are raiding and pillaging Ireland in search of gold. And his nephew is Brendan, who is an aspiring illuminator, and he wants to draw sacred texts like the other brothers there, the other monks there. And one faithful day, the monastery is visited by a legendary illuminator named Brother Aidan, who brings with him the Book of Iona, a book that will apparently turn darkness into light, and he is in the process of making the Kiro page, which will be the ultimate page to bring hope to the people of Ireland. And so he recruits Brendan to help him out to create the Kiro page. And so Brendan must defy his uncle's orders not to venture outside the walls, and he befriends a mysterious fairy girl named Aisling to help him overcome his inner fears to create the book, to create the page just in time before the Vikings come and destroy everything.
So I guess I'll start first with some praise. For a first film outing, this is a pretty movie. Just lush greens. Just I mean, like the art's inspired by Celtic art, like folk art, and they really commit to it. I love it reminds me of like how Gendy Tartakovsky has his shows, and the character designer who works with him on like designing these characters. It's very like how do I describe this? It's very like simple shapes, but make for like
geometric.
Yeah, geometric. But they still flow just beautifully because, the misconception is more detail means better animation, which, that's not true at all. The designs are simple, but they still they're distinct. You can still get what kind of characters they are from just by looking at them. And it's just a pretty movie. And I love how they make the Vikings look, the colors contrast with the Vikings and then the world around. Brendan and Aisling. And now it looks great. And especially like when he has to go into that dark area, like that temple that Aisling tells him like, no, don't go in there. There's a monstrous creature that lives in there full of darkness and whatnot. And yeah, but I mean, what do you guys think? Like, what do you guys think about the characters?
I think the characters are all just wonderful.
Yeah.
It's funny how Brendan Gleeson kind of pops up in both this and Song of the Sea.
Oh yeah,
almost playing like the same type of character, that stern yet loving father figure.
Yeah, he's like emotionally distant father figure who also lives in a massive tower overseeing everything.
But he gives such a good, like a great nuanced performance in both films. I think I like his character a little bit more though in Song of the Sea, but in this movie, his character serves an important role in Brendan's development and in saving their village.
Yeah. I think a lot of I think this film uses its characters and story more like with just kind of like how to describe this, more thematic focus instead of just like an act. I mean, I'm not going to say there's no plot, because there is a plot and there is a story. There's story arcs. There's stuff happening, but it's definitely more like artist. Like it's more of an indie artistic approach to storytelling. Yeah. And I mean, like with Abbott Kalash, or Brendan Gleeson's character, it's like his place of shelter is cold, isolated. He's away from everyone. His mind's only got one thing, while Aisling is like energetic, lively, and a theme that we'll see later on with Wolf Walkers, free. And Aiden, who's voiced just great by Mick Lally.
The great Mick Lally, who sadly passed away shortly after this movie.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Brain's just kind of like, we need to tell the world of these stories to keep our history, to keep our legacy alive.
Yeah.
And of course, the Vikings, who don't really get any development because that's not the point of them. They're more of a symbolic representation of destruction and.
Yeah, they're a force of nature in this. It's told from the point of view of the Irish people at the time.
Yeah, so it's like they're not. This is, and it's not like a Marvel, oh, this villain just has very poor motivation. No, this is just, it's like we said, it's symbolic of what the Vikings represent.
They value
And
the material. They value gold more than wisdom and knowledge.
yeah, which that's something we'll see a lot in Cartoon Saloon movies now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Something else you'll see a lot in these movies is they like a lot of them, actually all of them, are told from the perspective of the children.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no, it's just, and I like the music, which is of course by, I think, Cartoon Saloon's like go-to group. Let's see right here, Bruno Coulez and Kila, which I think they do the music for all of their films. I'm not entirely
Except
sure.
for the breadwinner. They don't.
Okay.
They didn't do the breadwinner.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, yeah, they don't. Michael Dana and Jeff Dana do that one. And yeah, I think the one thing that's holding The Secret of Kells back for me, like even if when I look at my best to worst of 2009, it's my sixth favorite animated film of that year, not like being beaten out by Fantastic Mr. Fox, Up, Coraline, and Princess and the Frog. I think the ending feels rushed because and I think it's a pacing issue because it takes a pretty, and of course it's the runtime because this is 75 minutes long. It takes a while for the conflict to finally arrive at the Abbey, and then they just kind of rush through Brendan's training with Aiden, and then it's just like, I guess to me they don't really explain what exact like the fate of like what like of the Abbey, like when Brendan comes back as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, so did the Vikings just kind of like, okay, we got this one piece of gold, let's leave, bye.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's again, it's symbolic, it's visual storytelling, but it feels the most rushed because I mean that's just like the last 15 to 10 minutes left, and I don't think the ending hits as hard as I feel like it should have. But that's just me.
Yeah, actually, you're not the only one who said that. Actually, like that complaint's been popping up in a lot of reviews. Actually, actually, personally, this is mainly the reason why I joined on this particular podcast after like 5 months or so, because I love The Secret of Kells. It is still one of my all-time favorite movies. I remember back in 2010 when I heard that this movie was nominated for Best Animated Feature, and like most people, I had no idea what it was. Then I got around to finally seeing the trailer, and I was just freaking blown away by it. And I was just, I remember I was hearing Ashling's song over and over again, and then I finally checked out the movie out from the library, and you know what? I was just mesmerized. You know, The Secret of Kells, it holds a very special place in my heart because it helped me realize how dynamic of a form of storytelling animation is, because that was when my interest in animation really peaked with this movie and Fantasia. You know, this movie, it tells its story in a way that live action just simply couldn't. You know, it uses the visuals to tell its story just beautifully, and when it's using the visuals to tell a story about how the world inspires us, about how important art is, and how we should never take it for granted, and how it can be used to give us hope and comfort. And you know, it draws a lot from Irish history. So you know, the Book of Iron is of course the Book of Kells, which is the most famous manuscript from the Illumination era of the time, and it's a manuscript. It's a book of the four Gospels, and it's just, you know, it's a dazzling book, and I just love how it has that sense of reality to it. It's a real story told in a fantastic way. It's just, I'm gushing right now, and
No, that's fine.
yeah, I know, but I yeah, this movie, it had a huge impact on me, and I just love it for its message. I love how it takes the classic story of the hero's quest from Joseph Campbell, his framework, and he makes it about art. He makes it about, instead of like the main character growing up to be a warrior, Brendan, he grows up to be an artist, an illuminator, and I just love that. Like it takes that story template and it changes it from the inside out. And we'll see more. I'll explain more of that as we go on further. But Tom Moore, he's a master of taking classic traditional stories and putting new angles on them. And I just think it's just he uses it to convey the story, the power of art so beautifully in this movie.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of that. Watching The Secret of the Kells after the first time I saw Wolfwalkers was a pretty interesting experience because I got to see sort of the beginning of all of his trademarks. Like you get to see just how much he really cares about Irish history, Irish folklore, and just the way he kind of plays around with bringing the forest to life, and like his vision is pretty much the reason why I love animation. There was a trend on Twitter yesterday that just said animation is for everyone.
Yeah.
And I added my Letterbox quick thoughts to the conversation just because I think this is one of those movies that is kind of perfect to watch in 2020 when a lot of people, some days myself included, feel like all hope is lost. This is a good one to remind you that there's still light at the end of that tunnel.
It's like
you don't have to go through this alone.
Yeah.
No, it's like even if I criticize the ending for how it was paced, it has a pretty dark sequence before Aiden escapes.
Oh yeah.
Like the boy Brendan escapes in, but it makes up for that. It's the like Mike and I like to repeat from our review of Wolfwalkers, the Don Bluth approach.
Mm-hmm.
You can have anything dark and intense happen, but you have to have a good and like a happy ending at the end of it.
Yeah.
And
I gotta say that the barbarian invasion, the Viking invasion, that's another example of how Tom Moore plays with this kind of plot structure. Because usually a scene like this in any other movie would be like this battle sequence where they have like an equal advantage, the villagers and the Vikings. But no, in here it is just a massacre. You know, and it's just, you just feel the fear that these people fear, and it implies that a lot of these people, most of them did not make it out of this. You know, it's a good chunk of the characters that even some of them we actually grow up to like, it's implied they did not make it out.
Yeah, Irish has a lot of dark moments in their history, and like what we'll see in Wolfwalkers. But yeah, I think overall, Secret of Kells is a pretty good movie. Even if I might not like how the ending is executed, I still think people should watch it. Don't just ignore it because it's the first film and it might be faulty in some areas. Just go watch it.
If anything, I would say that this movie is kind of required viewing if you're going to explore the complete catalog of Tom Moore's films.
Yeah, it's probably the perfect film to jump into first if you want to check out the other side of animation. Wink, wink, nudge. Anyway, anyway, it's the perfect film to jump into if you want to see what the rest of the world is creating with animation. Like if you're tired of not tired, but if you're like, I kind of want to see more than just what Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, Illumination.
Ironically, Disney distributed the film overseas
in Ireland.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. And apparently they were going to make a Secret of Kells film back in the day, or like that was one of the ideas pitched around, but it never went anywhere. So that it's funny that we finally get to see that happen. But I think let's move on to our next movie, which is 2014 Song of the Sea. Now, this is the second film directed by Tom Moore. And this was when I finally started to jump headfirst into foreign animation. Like I got like my taste of it with the Ghibli stuff and then watching Ernest and Celestine. But then it was when my sister and I went to see Song of the Sea one evening at a theater up north from us that we finally were like, let's just go see this. And then we walked out and we were like, oh my gosh, that was bloody amazing. So this was also the film. This film also got Cartoon Saloon and G Kids an Oscar nominated for Best Animated Feature, which, you know, that was a tough year because it had Box Trolls, Big Hero 6, The Tale of Princess Kaguya, and How to Train Your Dragon 2. Personally, I would have voted for Song of the Sea to win.
Me too.
But nothing against Big Hero 6, even though personally I kind of think it was the safest bet out of those nominated. So, Song of the Sea, we follow the story of a 10-year-old Irish boy named Ben, voiced by David Rawl, who discovers that his new sister, Saoirse, whom he blames for the apparent death of his mother, is a Selkie who has to free fairy creatures from the Celtic goddess Macha. So, yeah, this one improves on everything that Secret of Kells did better. I think it has a better story, better characters, deeper themes. I mean, that's kind of thing. It's like, I can't say better animation because they already set the bar so high. It's definitely great animation, but I mean, it's better in some ways, but it's still, you know, top notch. There's no like, there's no like, oh, we need to elevate ourselves. I'm sorry, that makes it sound lazy.
Well, I'll pick up what you just put down. Tom Moore is one of those people who it's not like he's trying to top himself, like for reasons other than he is a very talented filmmaker who kind of doesn't know how to underperform. And so like something that we kind of talked about the last time with our aquatic movies, Ride Your Wave and Children of the Sea. Water in animation will never cease to impress me, especially in this like kind of sketchy to like traditional animated style. I love all of the scenes that take place underwater. Especially when Ben meets the
great Shaniki.
Yes, voiced by the hilarious John Kenny.
Yeah, John Kenny. He's actually a very famous Irish comedian, apparently.
Yep.
Yeah, the voice cast is actually pretty stellar. So we have, you know, David Rawl as Ben, Saoirse is voiced by Lucy O'Connell. We have Brendan Gleeson coming back as Connor, Ben's dad, Ben and Saoirse's dad. Then we have Fionnuala Flanagan as Granny, and Macha, a owl witch per se. And then we have, and I get, no, never mind. I was going to say they're both related, but they're not. Lisa Hannigan as Bronna.
Lisa Hannigan, yes.
And then we, of course, like we said, we have John Kenny voicing the ferryman and the great Shanachie. And then a trio of fairies, Lug, Spud, and Mossy, voiced by Pat Short, Liam Hurricane, and Colmo Shode. And one of the more interesting things that I like about this story is that multiple actors play different characters. And by different, I mean like the parallels of one another. The Granny and Macha, I mean, you could see this with who the voice actors are and what characters are performing. course, the fairy dad is the great Shanahi. So, of course, John Kenny is voicing both of them. Granny and Maka are basically the same person, metaphorically and literally.
And then there's Connor and MacLear.
Yeah, MacLear.
Giant MacLear.
And I think I like this story's themes more than The Secret of Kells, because I never noticed this, but we're seeing a lot of animated films deal with the fact that emotions equal life, that you have to deal with the emotions given to you because that's how you grow. That's how you go through life. You can't just bottle them up. You can't literally jar them up and just avoid them.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice this until I watched Kubo and the Two Strings recently, where it's like, wow, everybody has like the same thing to say. Emotions are important.
Yeah. Actually, this would make. I was just thinking, Song of the Sea would make a great double feature with Inside Out.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah,
Okay, can I?
Because I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah. Can I just start? Okay, I'm gonna start gushing some more. Okay, so immediately after The Secret of Kells, after watching that, I saw Tom Moore's concept trailer for Song of the Sea, and I'm like, wow, that looks equally fantastic. And I waited 4.5 years to watch this movie. Finally, I followed Tom Moore's production blog on this with the eyes of a hawk. You know, I would just go over every single behind the scenes tidbit I could think of, I could find, and I was just so excited for it. And then I got the chance to see this movie at my local art house theater with my mother, and we both watched it. And on the car ride home, we were just talking. It was like with you and your sister, Cameron, after Ernest and Celestine. We just were like, that was amazing. And my mind, like, I was shocked by how much, like, it's a movie. It may even be more personal to me than Secret of Kells, because I just have such a personal love. Like, any movie that you follow the production history of, like, as closely as I did, you have an attachment to it. It's just inevitable. And another example of how Tom Moore looks at storytelling is this is the Journey Home story, which we see with the likes of The Wizard of Oz, which also had actors playing the same actors playing real life and fantasy counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the Journey Home story, where the characters they meet are directly tied to the fairy tales that Ben's mother told him before she disappeared, and after when Saoirse was born. And it's directly tied to the characters, their experiences, and what they're going through, and how their interactions change that. It's such a story. It's about culture's relationship, but why we have fairy tales is that we have them to remember the people that we love. It's and in many ways, and I just love watching the characters grow. Like Ben, he hates Saoirse because he blames her for his mother, whom he was clearly very close to.
Mm-hmm.
He blames her for her disappearance. And throughout this movie, we see him grow spectacularly as he finally fulfills his responsibility to be a big brother. And it's just, I cannot love this movie. Like, The Secret of Kells makes me think. Song of the Sea makes me feel. This is such a wonderful written story where all the characters are flawed, but they all have good motivations behind it. I just cannot go on anymore about how much I love it. It's another movie that holds a very special place in my heart, and for a while at least, it was my favorite movie of all time until Wolfwalkers, which we'll get around to. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
No, that makes a lot of sense. This was probably my favorite movie for a while as well.
Really?
Well, for a little bit, and then I had to kind of think about it a little more, and then Porco Rosso came flying in. So, but no, I love the parallels of just like Connor feeling just kind of, he lost his loved one, and he's very isolated from everyone, and Granny and via Maka says like, I'm just going to take your emotions away so you stop feeling pain, because I don't like seeing you feel pain, but that's how you live. And
Yeah, like it has a great message that Ben, he lets his grief fester over like his resentment towards Saoirse, and like the movie shows all three of these ways of coping. They're just unhealthy. Okay, like
yeah,
it tells about how grief can bring a family together rather than and driving them apart. And I should also mention that um, I like it. Brona, she's voiced by Lisa Hannigan, whom our Steven Universe fans in the audience may recognize as Blue Diamond. And
oh, that makes so much sense.
yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was exposed to her singing, her music style for this movie, and by God, she has the voice of an angel.
No, and it's a very just smart movie just altogether. Like rewatching it and again this time for the podcast. I just love like even like Fairy Dan doesn't really have much of a role. He's just kind of there, but then you connect him with the great Shawnee, and it makes more sense of just like he ferries Ben to his destination of finding out what actually happened.
Yeah.
And for him to get to Saoirse. And there are two things that kind of bug me about this movie, not criticisms to the movie, just receptions and reactions that I've seen. People find this movie like not as good as Secret of Kells for some reason, because they say, well, they say it on the basis alone that it's a more approachable film than Secret of Kells, which I guess they mean in a very condescending way. It's less artistic, I guess, which that doesn't make sense to me, because I guess to me, just because a director wants to make sure a film that he's making is approachable by all does not mean it's any less artistic than your super hard to get into artsy cinema snob like experimental think piece. Like if you want to hit a film that's like all art, no, and just pretentious snobbery, go back to like the 60s and 70s. There are a few like indie films back in that day where they are just dense, and you can't break down, like you can't watch them in an enjoyable way because they're like, these are my philosophical quandaries, and it's like, okay, I don't care.
Okay.
I thought for a second you were going to bring up Masaki Yuasa's Mind Games.
No, I can at least understand parts of Mind Game because, and then some people had an issue with Ben being a little brat, which
God, I think the main person, I'm not going to bring up this critic, and I'm just out of respect for them. I think she's where you're or they. I don't know.
This is a thing. This has popped up a few times where they think Ben is too unlikable at first.
Yeah,
when it's
God.
like,
I'll be honest. I was kind of thinking that at first. When we first see him kind of like dismissing his sister and just kind of giving her the cold shoulder, I was thinking to myself, wow, that's not nice. But then I remembered
Mike, keep going.
But then I remembered like exactly the circumstances surrounding her birth, and then it clicked to me like, oh, okay, so that's his arc.
It should be noted also, she's the reason he doesn't have a mom. Okay, like, and
no,
go ahead.
Sorry. It's just like this kid one night just found out that his mom's gone, and now he has a baby sister. Don't know where the mom is. Don't understand it, and the dad is closed off because of losing Brana, and it's just like there's no communication between them. So now he feels like it's Saoirse's fault that his mom's gone, when it's just like, hey, your mom's a mystical being. It's not really her fault that she had to leave you and leave you with Saoirse and whatnot. No, it seems like it's kind of a trap that some people fall into, with just like kids acting like kids, and it's like, no, that's that's how a kid acts. This is how a kid would act to something this traumatic.
There's another thing I have to bring up. Okay, what makes Ben separate from any other bratty kid in a movie? This is the moment that really defines him for me. It's the look on his face when he finds out why his mother left. You know, like when he has to see them, like she had to turn into a seal, so the pregnancy wasn't going well, so she had to save Saoirse. You know, it was a no-win situation, which is why she had to return to sea. And you see Ben's face when he finds this out, and he is just crying. He has these tears. He's like thinking, "Oh my God, what kind of brother am I? You know, I blame this all on Saoirse. She had nothing to do with it." And you know that's Ben. He is a good kid at heart. He really is. You know, and like I just really hate it. I'm personally when there's this one critic, they went so far as to compare him to Dudley Dursley, which come the frick on. Come on.
No, that's not fair. And no, there's a difference between a kid acting like this, and it's all in the execution. And Ben is flawed. He's angry. And it's just like he has no form of showing it.
And when he redeems himself, when he tries to retrieve Saoirse by diving into the sea to get her coat, it's just so satisfying to see him overcome his fear of water. And you know, that's just, again, I just love watching. That's the kind of character you just love seeing grow as a character. And you know, again, Ben is a good kid who just let his emotions get the better of him, like Connor does, for instance. It's just I just love this movie. I just love his arc so much. You know, Song of the Sea, it combines it's the heart of Pixar and the artistry of Ghibli. I think that's the best way to because it's a very artistic, it's a very atmospheric movie, but at the same time it just has so much heart to it, and I just love it to pieces, man.
No, something I wanted to add that we didn't really touch upon is how really the main antagonist of this film isn't Maka, who the film kind of like sets up to be like the big bad. Really the villain is emotions. And like the whole point of this movie, which is why I'm frankly kind of jealous that I never got to see it in theaters, is just the arc of facing your fears and embracing the like the uncomfortable, unpleasant emotions, so you grow as a human. That's it's just beautiful, man.
Beautiful. And I also want to talk about it because we got to bring her up because she's basically the main character. I loved Saoirse, and like because she's mute for basically the entire movie until like the last 10 minutes. But they still give her a personality, and they still make her act like a little kid. And I love her reaction, like when Ben gets pulled into the ocean by their dog, and he thinks he's drowning, and then you see Saoirse just kind of slowly walk up, quietly,
like, "Are you okay?"
It's like, "Are you?" It's like, "You okay, brother?" And then, or it's like when Ben is being bossy, she like puts her feet into the ground, and like,
she's all pouty.
She's all pouty, and then her excitement and the wide-eyed curiosity when she puts on the white coat for the first time.
Then one of the best scenes in the movie, I think.
Oh yeah,
there's no dialogue.
And then when she of course gets into Granny's closet and gets the code, and then sits in a bathtub playing the flute, and then her just kind of like confusion when the three fairies know that she's the one, and she's like, I don't know what the heck you guys are talking about. And I think everyone knows about this now, though. When Ben and Saoirse get on the bus, there's a secret little cameo from Aisling from Secret of Kells as one of the kids on the bus, because the bus driver's like, yeah, I know, I'm shepherding goblins and ghosts all around town.
It's Halloween.
Yeah, it's Halloween. And no, it's just a great movie. Like, I know a lot of people say the Lego movie was 2014's best animated film, but I think Song of the Sea, and this isn't me just being like, oh, I'm against the big industry players. No, 2014 was a great year for animation all around. But
Oh, yeah.
Song of the Sea was just great.
I think even the fact that the Lego movie wasn't nominated in the top 5, I think that alone shows how strong that year was.
Yeah,
and I would agree.
Yeah, so we now move a few years into the future with the third film in their filmography, The Breadwinner. The first one directed solely by Nora Toomey or Tomei?
Yeah, Nora Toomey.
Toomey, okay, because I wanted to make sure I got that name right, because I love her, and I love this movie so much. And so this came out in 2017. This was the same year that, 2017 wasn't known as a great year for animation, especially when, the Emoji Movie came out. Guardian Brothers was shoved onto Netflix by the Weinstein Company. And, just there wasn't a whole lot outside of maybe Loving Vincent and Coco. But here comes The Breadwinner, which was the first film shown at Animation as Film in their first year.
Wow. Didn't realize
and won the major awards there. This was also, yeah.
I didn't realize Animation as Film was such a recent festival.
Oh, it is. It just started like 2 or so years ago, and
sadly there was no festival this year because
no, I think we would have seen Wolfwalkers there, like if it was still going on, which they should have gone online, but they didn't or couldn't. So this was also nominated for Best Animated Feature alongside Coco, Loving Vincent, The Boss Baby, and Ferdinand. Which, yeah, I loved Coco with all my heart. It's a great Pixar movie, but I would have voted for The Breadwinner. That it's a wildly different movie. I wouldn't call it a black sheep among Cartoon Saloon's filmography, but it's definitely the one that stands out maybe the most, just because it's their one animated film that's not Irish in inspiration. At least for right now, it's their only one. Which, of course, this is the film that's based off of the best-selling novel by Deborah Ellis. And a little fun fact: Angelina Jolie helped executive produce this film.
Yeah, it makes good. She's like a philanthropist.
Yeah, and so this is about a young girl named Parvana, who is an 11-year-old girl living in Kabul, Afghanistan, under the control of the Taliban. Her father is one evening taken away from her and her family, and she ends up having to make a tough choice of cutting her hair and becoming a boy to make ends meet for their family, and to some way find her dad and bring him back. In a, let's put it subtly, really hard time for this country. And as I watched this film today, it made me think of another film called The Swallows of Kabul, which takes place, I think, during the same time period. But
2001 Afghanistan. They started that period just before the Taliban fell.
Yeah, no, it's probably like first off, this was the best animated film of 2017, hands down. 2, this is probably and this is already we've already have 4 films that are incredibly dark. This one might be the most adult and the most dark film out of their catalog. Just because
I would agree with that.
Just because of the intensity of some of the scenes and the tone, the story, and I mean, I'm sorry. I'm gushing because I love this film so much. I got to go to a empty theater at the Violet Crown here in Austin and be the only one to see this film. And on one hand, And on one hand, I was like, oh my gosh, I get my own theater. But then at the same time, I was like, man, there is no one here to see this. And
Yeah.
but let's go around and talk a little bit about this movie. Mike, you go first.
Well, the one thing that really sets this one apart from, I guess, what we're calling the Irish folklore trilogy is this one is the least fantastical. Like it's the least fantastical, and it's the only film that's just a straight adaptation of previous source material. So already it really kind of sets itself apart from the trilogy. But also being directed by Nora Toomey, like it you can tell this is directed by a woman, because it has a very soft feminine touch, but the story also really gets it, like it gets real, and
Oh yeah.
it gets uncomfortable.
Oh gosh, one of my favorite things about this movie is just all the little scenes and all the little dialogue exchanges. Like when she meets her friend, and they just kind of talk, and she's just like, and her friend wants to like make enough money to leave and go live by the beach, and you see her and Parvana asks like, well, don't you like your dad? There's a small little pause, and she's like I am a good son, but my dad is not a good father. And there are just little bits like that, like when Parvana is sitting down trying to hawk stuff to make money, a Taliban member comes to her and says like, you can read and write, correct? Yes. Please read this letter. And as he's like taking the peel off of an apple, he finds out that his loved one died in an accident. And you just see just him pause and then gets up. And then later in the film, he comes back and then asks like, can you show me where her name is? And she like gets to teach him about writing and reading and whatnot. And it's like, I'm sure this film has like an age range. I'm sure, I don't know, I can't seem to find what it's rated.
PG-13.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That does sound about right. Or it's like you meet that punk who almost kills Parvana and her friend, because he's really just corrupted by the Taliban.
Yeah, he's a damaged kid.
Oh gosh! And then when he like doesn't get them because he was being a pill, and then he's like, "Hey, you got to go fight with us now." You see just the realization on his face is like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go fight.
Yeah.
As the car. And it parallels when he got Parvana's dad arrested, as he is now taken away on the same truck.
Yeah.
And of course, like, have you guys seen a film called The Fall?
I have not.
I don't think I have.
Well, first of all, great movie. There's a storytelling device where all throughout the film, it is mentioned that our lead character had a brother, and she uses the fairy tales to like talk to her baby brother, her older sister, and her mom to kind of like cope with what's going on with them. And as the story goes on and as the fairy tale goes on, you find out that the main character in the fairy tale was her brother, and it's all, symbolic, artsy goodness, and it's done well. And you find out that her brother died because he accidentally picked up a bomb, and it's super touching. And man, like you go silent for a little bit after watching this movie. It's almost a little emotionally exhausting, but they find a way to balance out the optimism with just the dread of of life that was going on during that time period.
If I may expand on that, Cameron, there's another movie that has a very similar premise. Have you guys heard of Osama by any chance?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
It's in 2003. It's also about a girl in Afghanistan on the Taliban who has to cut her hair and act like a boy so she can provide for her family. And it has a much, much darker tone in this one, trust me. Like, it's about as hard for me to watch as The Painted Bird was, because anything that involves a child being in that much, a child suffering that much, that really gets to me. That's what I'm really sensitive at. And the breadwinner, there is room for optimism here. It's more like it is nice to see a story take this kind of film take this more light-hearted approach while not putting a blanket over the really heavy stuff. It's not exploitive in any way. It's and that's another thing. It's a celebration of Islamic culture, which you wouldn't really expect from a Western film after 9/11 and such. And yeah, it's a reminder how corrupted Afghan culture was by the likes of the Taliban and Al Qaeda. And it's a great reminder of it. It is similar to the rest of Cartoon Saloon's output, is that it is a celebration of culture, and just not Irish culture.
Yeah. No, it's just a fantastic movie, and it was my favorite Cartoon Saloon film because we'd have to dreadfully wait 3 to 4 years for the next movie, which, it's that whole philosophy that, and Mike, you might be able to say this one better than me. The whole, like, we can make it good and cheap, and so that'll just take a while for us to make it, or you can make it cheap and fast, and then it's not good. I forgot what the entire philosophy of that was, but
yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm having trouble myself remembering exactly how that goes, but really the key to success is you spend the money to you spend the money to make the quality that you want to make, something like that.
Yeah, and this movie was just made on a budget of $10 million. That's like 90 million less than most Pixar films, and it still looks great. And of course, you can find little workaround areas. The cars are obviously CGI, but just the way that they execute the visuals, you can't tell where how much was spent on it. That's why I was so shocked to see 10 million on there. At least with Ongaku Our Sound, yeah, it was made on a very low budget, and it was made by a bunch of first-time animators. So it just shows that you don't need to have the most money in the world. You can just have the right artistic vision and team and management.
Yeah, it's not about how much money you spend. It's what you do with that money that matters.
Yeah. And kudos for the team for casting all Middle Eastern actors for this role. You have Parvana, played by Sarah Chaudhry. You have Salgia, the other friend who is also a boy, a girl pretending to be a boy. Soma Shaya, Fatima, Parvana's mother, played by Lara Sadiq. Soraya, played by Shaista Latif. Nurullah, the dad, voiced by Ali Badash. Zaki, voiced by Patrick McGrath. That might be the one casting that isn't Middle Eastern, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I think it's because it's a baby.
Yeah. No, I know that's the one casting thing we can have a tiny bit of leeway.
Yeah.
Idris, the brat bully boy, Noreen Gulamgaus, Suleiman, who's also voiced by Noreen Gulamgaus, which at first I was like, at first I thought they were going to pull A Song of the Sea and have like a parallel between those two, but they didn't. Then you have Razak, the Taliban member voiced by Kawa Ada, who of course asks Parvana for help and all that jazz. The very just kind of too antagonistic cousin character at near the end by Ali Kazmi, and then the old woman voiced by Lara Shadiq. Like it's a great cast all around, and it's also like, I mean, I don't know what else we can say. It's a great movie.
It's a masterpiece.
It's a great it really stands out among the cartoons and in all the best ways. It really it has a voice. Nora Toomey, she's already developed a voice of her own. She's also directing their next movie, My Father's Dragon, which actually it's according to Variety, it's slated for 2021 on Netflix.
Yeah, so that we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah,
I was going to talk about that. Yeah, we were going to talk about that later, since that's exciting that they got another movie coming out.
Yeah.
No, Breadwinner is a good example of, like, yes, I would love them to do as many Irish folklore stories as possible, but if they are going to go out of their comfort zone, we know now that they can do it. And of course, they've made shorts and stuff in between these releases, but now we come to our current year of 2020 with the best animated movie of 2020, unless Soul is amazing, Wolfwalkers. Our second time talking about this, but it is now officially out on Apple Plus and had a small theatrical run thanks to G Kids, who are also in the credits of the film. So I'm wondering if that means we'll get a physical release as well, but we'll see.
Hopefully.
So for a lot of us who I guess let's just say, like we said, it's the best animated film of the year. It's basically a combination of everything that I love from the past films that they've worked on, combined into this one movie. It's got amazing animation that I think that tops the other films.
I would say so too,
because it
definitely,
yeah, it definitely has that approach that you would see Disney back in the day, like during the 60s and 70s, where they had that more pencil sketch style. And I know we're probably just going to repeat a lot of what Mike and I said, but who cares? This is a great movie. And it's just gorgeous, the themes, and okay, where should we start?
Ooh, good question.
I guess where do we start again?
Since you guys already talked about it, can I kind of start?
Go for it.
So Wolfwalkers takes place in 1650 Kilkenny, Ireland. The main character is Robin Goodfellow, a girl who has moved there from Britain with her father, Will Goodfellow, under the Lord Protector, actually, who's also Oliver Cromwell, the imperialist who was trying to exterminate all the wolves in Ireland so he can tame it. Robin comes across a girl named Maeve, who happens to be a wolfwalker, a person who, when they are asleep, turns into a wolf. And through her interaction, Robin becomes closer to the world of Maeve and the wolves, and in the process, she becomes a wolfwalker herself, which means she's kind of in between the world of her father and the world of the woods. And so it's about the ensuing drama that results from her having to save both. And yeah, no being around the bush here, Wolfwalkers is freaking fantastic. It's a strong candidate, I think, for Tom Moore's best movie, which makes it my favorite animated movie of all time. This movie, every positive thing you've said about this movie is absolutely correct. It's written by Will Collins, who wrote the script for Song of the Sea, and it's art directed by Ross Stewart, who is a co-director for The Secret of Kells. So best of both worlds, baby.
Yeah, no, that's pretty accurate, and
Um,
it
um,
finally gives Sean Bean a role where he's not going to die in the end.
yeah. Actually, the funny thing is, when I heard that there was going to be another father figure in it, I just thought, okay, so is he going to be voiced by Brendan Gleeson again, and is he just going to be Tom Moore's John Ratzenberger?
I was kind of wondering that too at first, but no, Sean Bean does give a nice performance.
Yeah.
It's also a very different performance. He's not just like a gruff, mean man, or just like one taken by greed, like Boromir, or Ned Stark. And it's a more wholesome approach to a father figure, and definitely one that's more vulnerable.
Yeah, I love his arc.
Yeah, where it's just like he's overly protective of Robin. And yeah, I know everybody gripes about the overly protective father figure, but at least in this time period, it makes sense. It's not like, oh, you like a boy where I don't like that. No, it's like, I don't want you to go out there. I don't want you to get killed, and I don't want you to be punished by the Lord Protector.
Yeah.
And then it says, of course, like when he talks to her, and she's just like, "Why are you like this?" And he's like, "Because I'm afraid."
Yeah.
Because he's all through his whole life. I mean, this movie's like kind of fitting for 2020 because it's like for his whole life he's like thought the Lord Protector was going to be his, protector, and he's starting to realize that like this is not right. This is not happening. His world is turned upside down, and
Hashtag relevant.
Yeah, hashtag relevant, baby. And it's just like it's a complex movie because it has environmentalism themes, it has colonialism themes, like obviously with Cromwell trying to take down the wolves, or AKA savages, and then there's themes about freedom, about identity. There are themes of sexism because the men are told to be guards while the women work in the scullery, which looks about as emotionally crushing as possible.
Yeah.
And fun fact, Nora Toomey has two small cameos. She's the vendor woman that you see at the beginning of the film, and she's the one who tells Robin to shut up and wash the floors, basically. And of course, Robin and Mego Matilda probably has some of the best chemistry of any characters from this year. Probably the best chemistry between the two girls, and
probably
the best like quote unquote sister dynamic since My Neighbor Totoro. Just because it's like a younger sister and an older sister, and man, like the animation, just watching this again, just watching the fluid movements, and just like this is, I mean, like, and we've talked about this a couple times that like CG animation can do some things that 2D animation can't, or it's really hard for 2D animation to do. This felt like Tom Moore heard about this kind of comparison, and he was just like, hold my beer. I'm going to do a bunch of dynamic sequences I'm going to make sure our team does like the chase sequence at the beginning when Robin and Meg are in the forest, or then like when Robin is in her wolf form for the first night, and that great sequence that was played at Annecy in the work in progress section.
I think that might be my favorite sequence.
Yeah, that's probably the best sequence of the movie.
It's the one where that song I'm running with the wolves tonight by Aurora.
Yeah, I'm running with the wolves tonight, and that's a great song. It's actually a song that's a few years older than Wolf Walkers. It just happens to fit perfectly.
Yeah, they reinvented it so it would fit the scene better.
Yeah, and while this is probably the first film to have a quote unquote real villain with Oliver Cromwell, the Lord Protector. I mean, the film won't say who it is, but knowing Irish history, it's Cromwell. And it reminds me, just a side tangent, Oliver Cromwell is one of those figures that, depending on what side of the ocean and what part of Europe you're in, you have wildly distinctive like responses to Oliver Cromwell in history. If you're part of the UK, you love him. You think he's a great person. The Irish want him to burn in hell. They want. He is one of the most notorious monsters in their history, and seeing how this movie portrays him, maybe a little one note, but still, like he leaves an impact. He's the savage per se, and
he's almost like Frollo from Hunchback.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's like Frollo and Radcliffe from Pocahontas,
except a good version of Radcliffe. So
exactly.
But and it's just I mean, I don't know. It's just this movie is just great, and I like the animation. Just going back to it again, it's more fluid. The designs are like still hold that like geometric kind of approach, and I love like something I noticed like while watching a little bit of it tonight before the podcast. I love how the wolves work, like the herd of wolves, because they kind of turn into water essentially, like when they bunch together and move as one, or like when you see Maeve like jumping across the buildings, it looks like a big orange raindrop.
Yeah,
like jumping. And
her hair just
and like I don't know what else I could say about this movie. Mike or Jacob, you guys got anything?
Just watching it a second time really made me appreciate the father-daughter relationship more. And I love like kind of catching like the details in the animation, like you said, how the wolves they really move as like one unit, but and also the way that they use silhouettes in this film just looked very striking.
Okay, before I start gushing again, another great detail is the wolves, Maeve, and when she and Robin in wolf form, they're actually sketchy, and actually, well, Robin and the other townsfolk in Kilkenny, they have the geometric, it's very clean outlines, and Maeve and the Wolfwalkers forms, they're all sketchy. They have these sketches kind of, and shows that they have a wild side to them, that it's not it kind of looks like 60s Disney, and like Sword in the Stone or the Jungle Book. And apparently Tom Moore was influenced by the Tale of Princess Kaguya. And
that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
It's just especially the running sequence from that movie too. Okay, gushing time again. Another thing, Wolfwalkers. I'm surprised I haven't heard this that many times in reviews, but the story structure, it's similar to something like Avatar in a way, or Dances with Wolves. Wink, wink. Get it?
Well, it's the good version of that movie. So.
And Last Samurai, and Fern Gully, and Pocahontas, where the main character falls in love with the lifestyle they were told to hate, and they're compelled to defend it from the culture they were from. What's different, though, what makes this interesting compared to something like Avatar, is that it's more about embracing your inherent wild side in a way. It's about when Robin, when she becomes a wolfwalker, that's kind of her innate curiosity and wildness kind of come out finally. And Maeve, she kind of has an arc too. She at first she doesn't trust Robin because she's a townie.
Yeah.
And she's she sees, and she begins to trust her more. She actually sees value in Robin some more, and and it's more about Robin. She does love her father. Like, she doesn't completely go against the culture of it that she is a part of. Like, she doesn't rebel really against the people of Kilkenny. She just only rebels against the Lord Protector.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about it's about embracing your inherent nature. Like this one's about culture and nature, about why culture has been so enamored, why we have so many story and they have so many folklore involving nature. And it should be known that Tom Moore, he's actually a very staunch vegan, which he probably, and I think it have been told, like, it does have an environmental message that can, like, a person of that lifestyle could really understand. And and like you said, Cromwell is incredibly despised by the Irish people, because, well, for one thing, he practically committed genocide against Catholics, and also he's the reason why the wolves are extinct in Ireland. And again, another draws from Irish history while making it presents in such a fresh and interesting way, like Secret of Kells and Song of the Sea did. And this movie's just like I said, it's the culmination of Tom Moore, and I'm just thrilled of what he follows up with this next. Like I want to see how he can top this movie, because it is such a perfect cap to this trilogy. Done.
Yeah. No,
I don't know how he's gonna top this, but I
mean, like,
definitely want to see him try, because
no. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm torn, but like between Wolfwalkers and Song of the Sea, which one I like better. I think the animation is a vast improvement in Wolfwalkers, but I still think there's a lot of value emotionally with the story of Song of the Sea. I think animation is the tiebreaker.
Yeah,
because both have really strong screenplays. They both have
strong characters.
Yeah, the characters are endearing, and just the way that Tom Moore and the animators play around with the environment. I think in both movies, it's just a matter of preference, whether you prefer stories underwater, or you like to spend your time in the forest.
That's a good question. I think I like Wolfwalkers more, but it's not fair, because I think Wolfwalkers has a little more like animation, like details put into it. Like when you first meet Robin, she's like covered in shadow. Her eyes look monstrous when she's just playing around with her crossbow, and then when she wants to be free, she's always like behind a window or something like that. And then it's like when you see the wolf vision, it's all like sketchy charcoal, like paint, like animation style, and it's tough. I think I might like Song of the Sea more in some ways, because it just doesn't have an overall villain, while Wolfwalkers has Cromwell.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
because Cromwell goes out like a punk. He's just like, I'm not winning. Bye. I'm not giving you the satisfaction of killing me. and I mean, and I don't really have a complaint about that at all. I'm just saying that. Don't take it as a negative. It's just how the movie is. It's not. Who was the villain in Tarzan, the Disney movie?
Clayton.
Clayton. He doesn't. I mean, he kind of has the same death in a way. Like, he just causes his own demise, except
he hangs himself.
Yeah, and Cromwell falls to his doom. The cleanest of Disney deaths. But I think I like the ending more to Wolfwalkers than Song of the Sea. But it's like it's splitting like the tiniest of hairs, and you could go either way with either loving the ending of Song of the Sea, where Saoirse gets her voice back and gets to live with her brother and father, or Wolfwalkers, where Robin and her dad end up leaving the town that they were in with Meb and her mother to go on a journey across Ireland. And it's tough. I mean, really, Cartoon Saloon has put out probably one of the most so far consistently high quality filmographies.
Yeah, I hope they keep it up.
No, I know that's. I mean, I'm saying that with the looming worry that like one day we might have to say, "Oh, this one's not as good." as
Right.
the others.
I honestly don't think that'll ever happen.
I don't.
As long as the same people are taking creative lead, I don't think we'll ever have to worry about a significant dip in quality.
No,
Right.
I would love them to keep bringing on other talent, maybe like just people that they personally choose, kind of like how Studio Ghibli was like, okay, we need other directors, so we need or like we need other talent to start taking the reins. So how about Miyazaki and Takahata? You guys choose who you would like to move, like you know, make the next movie. Who do you think could be good enough to make a movie? And I think they'll have their choices because like some of the shorts are really good. I guess we weren't going to talk about the shorts, but like Late Afternoon, which
That's
has
good.
yeah, that's a great short. And I have to kind of think about what other films were short films were nominated that year, but it was probably my choice for the best. Oh wait, it lost a bow. So
Yeah, good. Fair enough. That was a fair loss.
yeah, no, that's a fair loss because Bow's great. But no, if they can find talent that way and not in the way that the unfortunate stories revolving around Leica are, where it's just like, oh, these aren't just the best people, they're the only people. Like if they can foster a healthy environment and find talent that they think they can make their own movies, I'm down for it, because otherwise it's like Cartoon Saloon also has like a ton of other like great little projects under their belt. Like I don't know if y'all have seen Puffin Rock on Netflix. It's
I haven't, but
I've seen parts of
I
it.
really want to check it out.
it's
Yeah.
super cute. I remember when my niece was younger, like maybe around 2 or 3, when my mom and I would babysit her. We were like, let's watch Puffin Rock, and we actually got hooked into it while my niece was just like, I don't care. So
Aw.
it's like I mean, she does. It's just we have to you know, it's just she has to grow up into it.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not blaming her or anything. It's just like, you know, little kids don't have like the like focus to want to, you know, talk like look at stuff like Puffin Rock. And I tried to show her Sherlock Hound, but I wasn't able to. So what do I know? So yeah, in general, Wolfwalkers, one of the best movie of the year, or at least the best animated movie of the year. We'll see what happens when we finally see Soul, but I'm sure it's going to be great. And it's, well, honestly, it's in Pixar and Disney's court. The ball is in their court. Can Soul actually okay, so here's a question. Do you think that with it being on Apple Plus and getting a much wider audience and I think the highest positive review out of any animated movie this year, do you think we could see an uproar with Wolfwalkers taking Best Animated Feature at the Oscars and Disney losing it?
I don't think
I think it's possible, but not. I wouldn't set the odds any higher than 40%.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Pixar and Disney, sadly, they've won so many times. Like other arguably even more deserving movies, like in 2014 with Big Hero 6 winning over Song of the Sea, and it just happens so many times. Like even this last year with Toy Story 4 beating Klaus, and I really wish I was able to give Wolfwalkers a better advantage. I really do. I just the possibility, it's always there. I really hope so, but I just, so far I'm not betting on it. I just think by default my prediction is going to Soul, unfortunately.
I'm not ready to just hand it over to Soul right away, unless it is like the greatest thing since sliced bread. I think Wolfwalkers, as of now, at least, it's putting up a fight.
Yeah, Soul. I think Soul's biggest enemy, like Pete Doctor's already won twice, and the Oscars may not want to give him a third one, but that hasn't happened. Like no other director has won more than twice. That's the biggest disadvantage I can imagine Soul having.
I think we could see a Spider-Verse situation. Like you said, like I agree. I wouldn't give it too big of a like percentage of winning, but it's also been a weird year, and
Yeah.
we kind of need. I think that's the one thing that may put Wolfwalkers into the running more than like as much as I love Over the Moon. I don't think it has a chance. I think it has a chance of getting nominated.
Nominated, absolutely.
Winning, no. I think if Soul was not coming out, it may like. I think Wolfwalker's chances would rise because as much as I love Onward, I don't think people would let Onward win. And I know that's I'm saying that after Toy Story 4 beat out Klaus and I Lost My Body, but I just don't think they would be willing to give it to Onward. Not that it wasn't a bad movie; it was a great movie. But
I loved it.
Yeah, no, and I think out of all the films G-Kids have under their belt this year, it's definitely going to be Wolfwalkers because as much as I love Ride Your Wave, it doesn't have a chance. And they don't their other stuff I think is like either too niche, like On Gaku Our Sound, though I could kind of see it maybe getting nominated just out of unique festival energy. But and then they'll also have Lupin the Third to First, and as much as I think that's a great action movie, they're not going to nominate that one.
It's too franchisey. I mean, maybe. It's just too anime. It's too anime. It's too.
I don't think the animated is a problem. I think being a franchise film is what's going to hurt it. I mean, at least for best animated feature. I know like most franchise films get like mostly technical Oscars, and Lupin the Third isn't going to be in any of those. If it has a chance of anything, it's going to be in the foreign and in the animation scene. And I mean, like there's other films out this year, like the Willoughbys, but I think there's not much else. I think it's definitely going to be a Wolfwalkers versus Soul situation.
Yeah, I think the Wolfwalker, since it's distributed by Apple, I think Apple could actually help it out because I think if there's one company that's bigger than Disney, it's Apple.
I think that's the one thing Wolfwalkers has going for it outside of being on a streaming service. And
yeah,
as much as I enjoyed the Willoughbys, it's not Klaus. And but yeah, we'll just have to see. So yeah, and then supposedly if things go well next year, we will see Nora Tumei's second directorial like solo film with My Father's Dragon, which I read the books and I can't wait for that coming to Netflix. And I'm wondering if G-Kids is going to help out with that one as well, because otherwise G-Kids, you got to get that Calamity over here. Come on already.
Yeah, I need to see Calamity like yesterday.
Yeah.
I
needed 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's from the guys who made Long Way North, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's the one that won. I'm looking forward to that then. I loved Long Way North.
Yeah, same here. No, it's the one that won the main prize at Annecy this year. And unfortunately, we weren't able to see it, but whatever. Still not bitter about Annecy Online. Absolutely not. So overall, Cartoon Saloon, one of the best new studios founded. And yeah, I can't wait to see what else they do.
Yeah, certainly.
Before we wrap things up, one thing I want to mention, next year, Cartoon Saloon has an animated series coming to Disney Plus called Viking School.
Oh, that's going to be fun. I can't wait. I saw the concept art for that, and yeah, hopefully it's going to be Disney Plus's Puffin Rock kind of show, because Puffin Rock's really popular.
Yeah,
so.
Cartoon Saloon, they're an up and coming. It's just really exciting to see them have this strong of this strong of a starting point. Like just 4 movies, all of which are just excellent. With Ghibli, their future's still a little uncertain. With Hayao Miyazaki still has one, and Goro still has Earwig and the Witch, and Panak, by Hiromasa Yonebayashi. It's great to see a new animation studio of the 21st century, maybe join the likes of Pixar and Ghibli and like Pixar and the Disney and DreamWorks. Like it has the potential to carving its own place in animation history as just being this amazing house of just great directors and just great storytelling. And I'm just so looking forward to what they have next up their sleeve, if they're even half as good as these 4 films are.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to see. Wolfwalkers, man, that's going to be impossible, I think, to top. It's going to be kind of like, I think Wolfwalkers is their Spirited Away per se.
It's the Spirited Away. It's the Final Fantasy VII, or if you're a Metallica fan, it's the Black Album of Cartoon Saloon.
Yeah. So,
or it may not be. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Should we go into some recommendations?
If you have any, go for it.
I got some. So, we kind of mentioned this, that Netflix is going into their, is releasing 3 shorts. And recently their newest one, Canvas, hit Netflix. And
watched it today.
Yeah, it's really good. About a elderly old man who is hesitant about painting again as he watches his granddaughter draw and make these photos. And it's a 9-minute short, and it's super touching and just very sweet, no dialogue. And it's a cool little mix of CGI animation and 2D animation. It has a cool canvas texture when the 2D animation happens, and it's very sweet, and I definitely recommend it. I still need to see the other one, the one that Lauren Dern helped produce. And then, since we're just talking about the world of animation, I think people need to see 2019's hit Neza, which was brought over by Wilgo USA Entertainment, which was the big smash hit animated film and just Chinese film in general from last year. And because it became the highest grossing animated film in China last year, or just the highest grossing film in general in China. And it's this great take on the Neza folklore tale that talks about dealing with destiny and discrimination. And while there are some jokes that do not land, unlike, my favorite joke from Wolfwalkers, when Robin runs out of the cave and Meb is looking at the wolves and she just kind of shakes her arms a little, like, come on, don't make me look stupid. Go after her. There are a few jokes that are that funny in Neza, but Neza is just, it shows that China is we're ready to take on Pixar and Disney because it looks great. It has great action, a very cool dynamic between the 2 lead characters, and their recent film, Zhang Jia, unfortunately has yet to get a mostly US release because of, everything. So hopefully it either comes out later this month or for next year, and we'll just talk about it and review it then. But Neza is on Netflix right now, and barring a few jokes and maybe a tone issue here and there, it's probably China's best animated film next to Whitesnake, which also came out last year, I mean. So I recommend Canvas and Neza. They're both on Netflix.
Very solid recommendations. I think because we talked so much about Don Bluth, I kind of have to recommend, the classics, Secret of Nim, Land Before Time, An American Tale. And since we are in Christmas, if you can find it, I don't know if it's on Disney Plus, but check out his short film, The Small Ones.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
this was like, I think the last thing that he made before leaving Disney.
That well, considering where Disney was, he made the right choice to jump ship at that time. So,
Oh yeah.
No, I that's a good recommendation. Jacob, you got anything?
Oh, since we're on the subject of Netflix animation, there's a short called If Anything Happens, I Love You. It's about a couple of parents who recently lost a child to a school shooting, which is unfortunately very relevant in this day and age. And it is a powerful short, man. Like, it is, apparently the creators, they actually interviewed parents who have lost children in school shootings, and it is it really does a phenomenal job of making you feel the pain that losing a child in any situation feels, and them trying to cope with that grief, through memories and such. And grab some tissues. It is a heart-wrenching, but it's a very worthwhile one.
Yeah, and Netflix is not really advertising these shorts, so please watch them. Please share them on Twitter because Netflix has garbage marketing. So
Oh yeah, they do.
yeah.
So just to expound on Jacob's recommendation, there are 3 Netflix shorts in contention for the Oscars this year. You met Cameron mentioned Canvas. This was If Anything Happens, I Love You. And I think Laura Dern was Laura Dern the one who produced Cops and Robbers?
No, I think she produced If Anything Happens, I Love You.
Oh, okay. So Cops and Robbers is something else.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's.
I don't see her name here. I'm on the Wikipedia page for If Anything Happens, I Love You. I don't see her name here.
Oh, let me see here. We'll probably edit some of this stuff out. She might. Let's. Well, it might not be her then. So she might. Yeah, it might be Cops and Robbers then. So we'll have to see. So
all right,
yeah.
but yeah, overall, I thought this was another fantastic episode. Jacob, thanks for joining us on this one.
No problem.
Before we head out, where can everyone find you online?
You can find me on Facebook and Twitter by Jacob Crable. That is Jacob Krehbiel, and you can also find me in the Renegade Pop Culture Facebook group.
And Cameron?
You can find me on Twitter at Cam's Eye View. I just hit 180 followers. I'm going to try to make it to 200. I know that's small, but hey, you got to start somewhere. I also run my own website called camseyeview.biz, and there's a category of the website where I review animated films called The Other Side of Animation. I also have a Patreon at patreon.com/camseyeview. So if you like what I do, or you like hearing what we talk about here, you can just go to my Patreon, and we'll probably set up something like that for the main website in the future. So, yeah, that's where you can find me. And I'm also in the Facebook, the Renegade Pop Culture Facebook group. I'll post there from time to time. So, yeah.
Awesome. And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Captain K42. Check out all my quick thought reviews on letterboxd.com/Coach K42. Find me in all the various Facebook groups just at my name. You can find Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and at Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. All of our podcasts you can find on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Anchor, Spotify, wherever you listen. And last but not least, don't forget to check out renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we. That'll do it for this installment of Renegade Animation. We will catch you guys later. Peace.
Bye, everybody.